Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Um, I just want to say how exciting it is to be able to connect with fellow hypnotherapists and get a little bit of an insight on what's going on for you and what motivates you.
Yeah, I mean
And
it's a long journey, and there's lots of kind of streams that led to the river, but ultimately it was from a health perspective. So in my childhood, I grew up in a small village with a mental hospital in it, and three of my grandparents were mental health nurses there. But I watched their physical health not be so good sometimes. I got into, in 2001, natural medicine. So I started working in health stores and watching people take vitamins and supplements and drugs. And what I observed was that the people that got well had a really good mindset. They knew they were going to get well, they were going to beat whatever illness they had, they were going to transform. And so for me, it was always going to be in the mind if we were going to have wellness. So for me, one pivotal moment was reading a book by Brandon Bayes called The Journey. And in this, she uses hypnosis and NLP to transform her health. And I was just so inspired by this. I was like, I'm going to do this. I need to do whatever she's doing. I'm going to do that. And in that kind of journey, I realized that she was using techniques that I had been using since I was a child, meditation, guided visualization. I'd been playing games with the kids, having them imagine going through the forest and into the cave and finding a magical message, thinking it was just all make-believe. But now I realized that this was actually hypnosis. People were actually accessing resources in their own mind. So yeah, for me, the second that I went towards hypnotherapy, which would be about 13 years ago now, where I started training, maybe 12 years, in that moment, it was always going to be medical. From the first phone call to the school, what do you want to do? I want to help people with their health.
awesome. I can imagine over this journey, there's been some really amazing breakthroughs. Would you like to kind of maybe share a story about something where you've worked with a client and they didn't think maybe it was going to work, but it worked, it changed their life in some way? Do you want to share a little bit about that?
So a story about a client that maybe transformed their health.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's one particular client, and she stands out to me, and she's given me full permission to talk about her study, to use her name, her case study, and use her name. Her name's Tamara. And when I started working with her, she was in the hospital every single month. So she had Crohn's disease. Basically her immune system was attacking her gut. She couldn't eat, she couldn't drink. She was constantly ill. She was losing weight. She was in a wheelchair. And she actually lost a lot of her memory of this period of her life because she was just so sick all of the time. Now, I started working with her maybe about 10 years ago. And what happened is we did 6 sessions together. And she was hopeful, but she tried everything. She'd been to naturopaths, she'd been to all different therapists. But she was like, okay, well, we'll give it a go. And from the first session, she started to feel better. We worked on her nervous system. We worked on direct suggestions for her immune system, telling it what to do. We worked with her lifestyle. She needed to change her lifestyle to completely reduce her stress and to only put into her body the things that were going to be helpful for her healing. And so we did that. We worked on motivation for that. And within the course of those 6 sessions, her life was transformed. So from that moment on, she never had to go back to hospital. She only had one relapse when she moved to the South Island, and it was the stress of moving, going to uni. But other than that, and I've been in touch with her recently, she is still free of the symptoms. She can eat a much wider range of food. She can drink alcohol. And yeah, for me and for her, it was mind-blowing. It was just to see what hypnosis, hypnotherapy can do as an adjunct to other people's healing journey.
Awesome. What I find, a lot of people aren't familiar with what hypnotherapists can do for them. And this is a stunning example of the kind of breadth and width that hypnotherapy can help with. When we're kind of looking at skeptics, and, from time to time we meet them,
Yeah.
how do you tend to, I guess, talk to them about the effectiveness of hypnotherapy?
There's a Bible verse I like, and it's Proverbs 23:23. It's buy the truth, don't sell it. So from that point of view, if somebody's determined to be skeptical, and let's be clear, I think that skepticism is brilliant. I think we should all be a bit more skeptical, and we should really check things out before we do them. But if somebody is determined that hypnosis is not going to work, then I'm really not going to seek to kind of turn their mind around. I'm an open book. And from my point of view, what I do is I learn, I research, I study, I want to know more. And if something works, but I don't know how it works, then I'm obsessed with it. Like, how does that work? I need to find out. So I'm studying neuroscience, I'm studying anatomy and physiology, and pathophysiology. And so with all this information, should somebody seek an answer, so they go to me, hey, Daryl, I really don't know about this hypnosis thing. Does it work? Then I'm going to tell them scientifically, like physically, what is happening in their mind, how that affects their body, how that affects their immune system. So yeah, that's how I would approach it. Wait for them to come to me, and if they're open, I'm just going to share that information and maybe point them in the direction of further study if they want to do it.
It's exciting times. You know, I've been 30 years in this business, and the amount of information now with neuroscience sort of validating what we've been doing all these years is really exciting.
It really, really is. And it's a little bit frustrating sometimes. You know, there's a Stanford lecturer, I don't know if you know him, Dr. Huberman.
Yes.
And so he lectures and he does all these amazing free podcasts on Spotify on neuroscience. And half of the time he's talking about hypnosis and hypnotic techniques, but he gives the techniques a new name, like non-sleep deep rest, or there's another one to do with that we would call eye fixation induction. And so I commented to him a few times on his TikTok or on his Instagram, hey, this is hypnosis. Can you please credit it a bit more? And he didn't reply. And he will credit it from time to time. But yeah, it is exciting because neuroscience is validating what we do very quickly, and lots of what we do, not just one part.
What sets your approach to hypnosis apart from how other people might work with their clients?
For me, I don't really, and I never have really cared how other people do things. I'm always looking for a better, more effective way, whether that's when I was a baker, trying to find a faster way to make tastier muffins or making coffee. And it's the same with hypnosis. I really like light trances. So when people come to see me, it's more often than not, they're not going to be going into a deep trance. I want to bring the unconscious conscious, and that means having people interact with me while they're in trance. I use a lot of conversational hypnosis. I want people to feel better just by talking to me before we even get to a kind of formal trance. And I guess the other thing is, of course, I bring in my naturopathy and herbalism skills where that's needed. But for me, whatever the issue, I like to look behind it, to look past it. It's very rare that I will book someone in for one session, even for something that's very traditionally one session. For me, I want to dot all my I's, cross all my T's, look in all the corners. And so I do like to do short programs where I'm very, very thorough with the things that people would want to change. A lot of people probably do all of these things, but that's what I do, putting them together.
Nice. Another question I'd like to ask is, as an experienced hypnotherapist, what inspired you to start to teach? You mentioned that before, and also the supervising of other hypnotherapists, and how has this aspect of your work evolved over time?
Well, for me, I've always taught. So when I was I started working at 13 and took a second job at 14 teaching piano. By 15, I was also teaching French to, I think, 6 or 7 children every single week. And I loved it. You know, by the time I was 18, I was running a business, training staff how to bake, how to make coffee. And I always loved teaching and training. It's just an absolute passion of mine, even beyond hypnosis. It's the thing I love the most. And when I was studying and I was watching my tutor, I think it was even in the first or second month of class, I was thinking, I want to do that. I want to do that because it looks fun, and it is fun. I mean, it's so incredibly rewarding to be up there watching light bulbs switch on in people's heads, watching them learn and get excited for hypnosis. When it comes to supervision, I'm very passionate about two things in hypnotherapy, and one is ethics. I think that there are plenty of unethical practitioners out there. And so for me, supervision is a chance to be ethical, to help people be ethical. I mean, I see my own supervisor every single month, and I've done that for years and years so that I can keep my mind clear for my clients, so that I can discuss any gray areas. And I want that for the people that I trained. I started offering it to them. Would you like supervision? It could be with me, with someone else. And then there's a kind of sense of camaraderie developed because we did small groups. I do a lot of one-on-one, and that fills maybe half of my clinic. But when it comes to the small group stuff, maybe somebody hasn't done many clients before, maybe they're new and they don't want to commit to seeing somebody regularly. The small group stuff, it connects people, they share stories, always with confidentiality top of mind. We're able to help each other and build that rapport. So that's kind of where it's been. And over the years, it's progressed to me, I went from teaching with NZAPH to the Integrative Hypnotherapy Institute, and now writing my own courses. So I write my own material and present that as well. So yeah, hopefully that's where it keeps going. I'd like to keep creating material to upskill the hypnotherapists that are around and support the industry as a whole.
Nice. What message or guidance do you often find yourself imparting to your students, and what key qualities do you encourage them to cultivate in their hypnotherapy practice?
Ooh, so obviously there's lots of individual guidance. I think the most important thing I'm going to say is be authentic. People worry about having an accent or not being clever enough, or not being academic, or being artistic, or not having studied for many years. And what I like to say to them is just be you. People come to see you because you are you. Otherwise, they're going to go and see them or them or them. So don't try and be someone else. Try and be yourself. Bring your life experience into what you do. And you're going to find the clients that resonate with you, and you're going to be able to help them. The other key thing that I like to encourage them is practice, 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 but don't worry about being perfect. Nobody is perfect. I mean, I cringe if I look at some of the things I did 10 years ago, go, oh my gosh, I used to do it that way. And, I think even the best perfectionists will look back at the past and realize where they could have improved. So perfection is an illusion. Just do your best job, reflect on the job that you do, and keep working on it. Just keep progressing. And that goes for your personal life too. If people are studying, if they're working on their own issues, don't wait to be perfect before you launch your career. Just keep working on yourself, have progress while you start helping people.
Absolutely. Nice advice. Hypnotherapy is a fascinating field. And how do you see this role evolving in the future of healthcare? And what excites you most about its potential?
It's an interesting thing with hypnotherapy because, of course, it used to be massive in healthcare many, many years ago. And then when we discovered anesthetic, God bless, then we didn't need hypnosis as much. But I think that as neuroscience starts proving hypnosis as being effective, or hypnotic techniques as being effective at supporting the immune system, at helping recovery from surgery, for example, as well as, yes, replacing anesthetic in people who are allergic, which, a quick Google News search, you'll find articles on that. So I think it's exciting because once we can prove something works and we know how it works, it starts to become accepted by the mainstream. I don't know if I want us to be fully in with the mainstream, because it's also an artistic profession where you need a little bit of room for creativity, and that the thing that happens between two people that's not black and white. What excites me most for the future? It really is the potential that so many people can be happier and healthier because they are able to find out about hypnosis and use it themselves.
Nice. That's awesome. Lastly, if there was a takeaway you'd like the viewers to have from this interview today, what would your core message be about hypnotherapy, and what would you like to convey about that?
So last takeaway. So my core message about hypnotherapy would be this: whatever your problem, whatever it is, anything at all, I believe that hypnotherapy can help. Whether it's a health issue, whether it's a mental health issue, whether it's a goal setting or motivation issue, hypnotherapy can help by helping you with emotional regulation, state management, motivation. It can help change you on a subconscious level by working on your beliefs, how you see yourself. Any single problem that you have in life, hypnotherapy is going to be amazing at helping you with that. And you don't have to pay billions of dollars seeing somebody all the time. I think if you've got a problem you need help with, of course, see a professional, but also learn it, study it, read it, and practice it, because hypnotherapy is for all of us. It's a skill that you can learn and that you can use in your day-to-day life for everything that you do. So please think about utilizing it and learning it.
Nice. It's been a pleasure talking to you today, Daryl. How might people find out more about you?
If you want to know about me, you can Google my name, Daryl Gove, and you're going to find some stuff, some awesome, some not so awesome. Nah, it's I have a bit of humor to me, so you'll see some humorous stuff perhaps. You can go to www.darylgove.com. You can email me at hypnotherapy@darylgove.com, or you can call or text 0204 830 564.
Nice. Also, you're part of the NZAPH, the New Zealand Association of Professional Hypnotherapists. And I hope that, a lot of people who are potentially curious about going to a hypnotherapist and thinking, how do I pick one? And that by just getting a little bit of a window in how you work with people today, it's going to inspire them to take that first step and feel confident to give you a call and get in contact. So thank you again, Daryl. It's been awesome talking to you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.